You got to open the show.
Yeah, let's open the show. Because if it's not the championship, it's nothing.
If we got to a championship and won it, it wouldn't be enough.
I completely fail on the day. I don't get any of my things done. Now what?
And overanalyze to the umpteenth power every detail of how it happened.
Somehow it gave my brain like this safety net where it was like, if it's not perfect, it's still okay. It's just version 1.
But something changed. Something changed in me where I'm like, that wasn't that big of a deal. Very powerful idea. There's things in here I think that everybody that's at one point or another deals with in their life.
Just two dudes. We're talking about overthinking and perfectionism and struggles with it, challenges, things we've done to overcome it, life experiences.
Hopefully something helps you that we share. So Wes and I met at church. We go to the same church and just kind of discovered that we are similar in some ways. And Wes has been helping me through some stuff recently, as well as I have a therapist, just some thoughts and ways that I think and modalities and things that I do in my life that do not serve me. And so, yeah. And we were already friends, so it made it easier.
Yeah. We're both fan of movies, both worked in the film industry for a little bit. Only for a little bit. And then Chris is more advanced than me in that.
I don't know about that.
I've been like a perfectionist overthinker for most of my life. And 5 years ago or so, I started this journey on like something clicked in me and I was like, I'm done. I'm done. I need to do something else like this. I don't like this. Something needs to change. Started going to therapy, paid for coaches, went to events, did all this stuff. And I could see the Lord guiding me through, go to this, go to this, go to this. And everything kind of built on the previous thing. Maybe it can help someone.
Well, and honestly, the thing we've talked about a lot too is it's therapeutic for us to be able to share our thoughts, experiences, feelings. And you've shared multiple times with me that like something that's been helpful to you is helping other people, you know, and who better to do it than someone that's been in the trenches, right? So
yeah, dude, for sure.
Awesome, dude.
Yeah.
Excited for this.
Yeah.
Number 1.
Yeah. Version 1.
We got to talk about that.
Okay, version 1.
That is so powerful.
Okay, so version 1.
My therapist loves it.
Oh,
yeah.
Your therapist?
Yeah, my therapist knows who Wes is, of course.
Sick.
So.
The concept is I was so overwhelmed to start something in fear that it wouldn't be perfect, people would reject me, and I wouldn't be loved, and therefore I would die. Like that's the thinking of a perfectionist and overthinker. Like, and so the theory of version 1 for a perfectionist is just tell yourself when you're doing something new, this is just version 1. Implying it's going to be wrong, but somehow it gave my brain like this safety net where it was like, if it's not perfect, it's still okay. It's just version 1. And so you could, whatever terminology you need for that, whether, hey, it's in beta, it's version 1, it's version 0, it's whatever, that helped me to just start. So
I love that.
How has it worked for you, or like how would you explain it?
Yeah, so same scenario, and I think probably many people watching, if we have more than 2 people that watch this, that'll be many. And so, but often I'm looking at Everest, whatever task it is, it's, or I want to do this thing. Like for instance, I want to create music and I want to put it out there. I think that it would be good for people. I've had that on my mind for decades, but I always go to everything that it would take to get where I want to go. And then that just feels like absolutely impossible. Plus I'm expecting it has to be perfect. It has to be perfect or else I can't put it online. And so I've got literally hundreds of songs that I've started, not finished. So that's what it looks like. But I shared version 1 theology with my therapist just yesterday because her homework for me was, okay, so she's like, what should your homework be? And I said, okay, my homework is like to record a song and put it online and share it. And she's like, whoa, you're talking about the peak again. I'm going to reel you back. I'm going to bring you back down. She's like, your homework is to just simply record a video of you singing a song. That's it. So the song's version 1, the video's version 1, because it's not where you want it to be, but good enough. And so yesterday morning, of course, I procrastinated until the last second before my session. because the goal was to get it done before.
Yep.
I did it. I'm like, whatever. I put the cell phone on a stand and I got my guitar and I played this song. And I'm like, there you go. It's version 1. And I hit stop. But something changed. Something changed in me where I'm like, that wasn't that big of a deal. I've literally thought about doing that for 10, 15 years, but I haven't done it. And so then I go to session yesterday and she's like, how did it go? I'm like, I did it. She's like, you did it. I'm like, I mean, it was 2 hours ago, but I got it done before I saw you next. Very powerful idea that it's just version 1. It's not a big deal. In fact, make sure it's not, plan on it not being perfect. Plan on it just being like a rough draft or whatever, but just follow through and get it online. So, or on your phone or whatever.
Yeah. To take the first step. The challenge for me in the past has been, if I say, hey, this is gonna be bad, expect it to be bad, that's a very scary thought. That was a very scary thought to me in the past. It still is, if I'm honest, in smaller areas, but it's the idea of something not being perfect is scary. And this whole concept of you were kind of alluding to, we had talked about a couple weeks ago, which is, as a perfectionist, whatever project or thing that you're wanting to do, you're expecting to start from where you're at in the United States or wherever you are in the world, and tomorrow to summit Everest.
Yeah.
That's literally what it feels like.
Right.
And that's the expectation that we set for ourselves, which is completely unrealistic. And so instead of expecting to summit Everest tomorrow, why don't we just start walking and getting in shape?
Yeah.
Because summiting Everest is going to take a while. It's going to take training. It's going to take equipment. It's going to take some money. That's going to take some time. The thought of conquering Everest tomorrow as a perfectionist, that could be cleaning your house. That could be creating music. That could be shooting a video. That could be having a difficult conversation. That can feel like Everest.
Yeah.
And it's almost humiliating to take that standard, which is completely unrealistic and not possible, and take it down to, what can I actually do today? What will I actually do? The reason I said cleaning first as an example is because I felt so guilty for not cleaning my house. And upstairs is messy. I had this room that I called my ADHD room that was just, if I didn't want to deal with it, I just threw it in there. Most people have junk drawers. I had a junk room. There was just stuff in every single room that was not clean. And so for me, I felt guilty about that. And Everest was cleaning my entire house. And for some people that may sound ridiculous, but for me it was, I heard this from Jordan Peterson, which was hey, if you can't clean the whole thing, just clean a small section and then give yourself a thumbs up, celebrate that. And so mine was cool, I have to get these clothes that are on the floor in my room into a laundry basket. That was step 1.
Yeah.
I couldn't do any more than that at the time. So
yeah,
as humiliating as that sounds, doing smaller steps and then celebrating after that was the key for me.
Yeah.
Because we're terrible as perfectionists or overthinkers, whatever that mix of anxiety, overthinking, perfectionism, inaction, being frozen, whatever that gobbledygook is kind of what we're talking about. And we're terrible at celebrating ourselves for having small wins, because if it's not the championship, it's nothing.
Yeah. And
That's
the
how
thing
I felt.
is what if we got to a championship and won it, it wouldn't be enough.
Correct.
Because of the way that we think. So.
Correct. We'd be oh, I didn't do that perfectly. I didn't win it perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But one thing I wanted to bring up is how open you are about your journey, and how probably healing it is for you to be open and talk about it, but also how important it is for other people to hear and see, and feel listening to someone, talk about their journey of perfectionism or overthinking. So we relate, because I have the same problem. And another episode we'll talk about why why someone would have this happen or how they became this way. There's many reasons why. But dude, so for, I don't know, 10 years, most people would never think it, but that I have struggled with exactly what you just said, like being frozen in my house in between jobs, because I'm a cinematographer, completely paralyzed to being able to do anything. A good person, but just for whatever reason, not able to act. So having all kinds of thoughts come to my mind about things that I could do to change my situation, 1,500 different options, and so, but it's not until like this past 2 or 3 months where I've been like, okay, let's just baby step it. I felt the Lord a couple of weeks ago tell me, hey, you need to organize and declutter and purge, and again, not a hoarder, just lived in a house, for 10 years. And so stuff is accumulated. And the thought was, which is not the thought that it usually is, just start in a room, and then in the room, just start in that drawer.
Yeah.
Or just start with that type of thing. So we have a mutual friend that I was on the phone with today. I was on a walk in the morning, and he called me, and he was sharing things that he's going through with his family. And he also struggles with inaction and all the shame that comes with not being able to do what you should be doing. And he's tied it to some stuff that's happened to him in his youth with his dad, the way that his dad was. And as we were talking, he's like, but I'm out here. He's visiting his dad. And I said, like 1,500 times, I noticed.
That's okay. Hey,
That's
hey,
okay.
Hey. Wait, are you a perfectionist? Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, he called me. He's visiting his dad, and he was telling me his plans on how he's going to heal with his dad. But he also, I could hear a lot of angst and frustration and pain in his voice when he bring up these things that happened. But he was talking like he's going to get Everest in the week that he's there. And this conversation that we've had in the past about this came to my mind. And I said, dude, you're talking about summiting Everest in a week. That's not going to happen. Like, give yourself some grace. Let's just worry about, let's say that you're now on the continent because you've traveled home, and his parents live in another state far away. You're now there. You haven't been there in a long time. Let's just focus on base camp. And so the listeners at home or on however you're viewing or hearing this, if there's a task in your life right now that you just cannot get yourself to start, you want to, but for some reason you can't seem to figure out the path, let's just focus on base camp. Or maybe you're not even on the continent yet. Let's just focus on a really small gear list. So if it's you want to go back to school, let's just focus on a really small list of the things that are 100% possible to process and do today. And then let's count it as a win. Maybe it's just making a small list. That's the to-do list. It's making the list. Awesome. Celebrate it. Share it with people that you know and love. And then tomorrow it can be the next thing and the next thing. To Wes's point, you're not going to summit Everest in a day.
That process that you just talked about, taking the first step and celebrating it, like, let's break that down. The first step was take this small section and just something I can do right now that's manageable, that's not going to be overwhelming. Those are the requirements for it. But what's going to happen is, it's happened to me a million times. I'm like, okay, yeah, but I'm going to do this, and I'm also going to do this, and I'm going to clean this bathroom, and I'm going to do the laundry, and I'm going to clean out and organize my garage. And so the list becomes,
and finish your dissertation.
Yeah.
And build a house.
Correct. And amass a fortune.
And find your wife.
By 3 p.m.
By 3 p.m.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's the tendency is to embellish the things that we need to do so that it prevents us from taking action. Perfectionism and overthinking is actually a safety thing. It has nothing to do with all of the individual steps to get there and whatever else. You're focused on an outcome, and then you walk backwards from that. And you're like, in order for it to be perfect, I have to do... And this list generation is safety for a perfectionist. It keeps you safe because it keeps you stuck. It keeps you in inaction.
That's a safer place because you know the outcome.
Correct.
Versus the
An unknown.
very unknown. And what would happen if it wasn't perfect?
Correct.
That is life or death.
Correct. And as we all know, there is no such thing as perfection. There is no such thing. So it's really a mask. It's an emotional thing masquerading as an intellectual thing, a fear of not being enough and all that stuff. And this is the shield that you're using to protect yourself from that. So when you start doing step 1 or version 1 or whatever, your brain is immediately going to fill up this huge list. And so it's funny, we were talking a couple weeks ago as well, and I was asking you like, hey, what's your next step in this? What are you going to do? Are you going to do music? Are you going to do this thing, this thing, this thing? Do you remember what you did when I was like, hey, what's your next step?
No.
So you were like, okay, I'm going to do this one thing. And then I followed up with you the next day, and it had ballooned into like 6 things. And then, which I laugh because that's exactly what I would do. That's exactly what I would do. So when you're just starting out and your pattern has been making impossible lists and never completing anything and feeling terrible about it and getting down on yourself.
That's your skill, is creating a list that's impossible.
Correct. We're going to take that skill and harness it and only do one thing. Write down one thing on your to-do list and resist everything in your being to add to that list. You're only allowed to put one thing on the list. And so mine was whatever it was, wake up at 5 a.m. or go to the gym or
put clothes in the basket.
Whatever it is, you can do one thing. And as soon as you can consistently check off that one thing, whatever it is, it can be something different every day, then you can add one more thing to your to-do list.
How long do you think the time frame is on that?
A week to a couple weeks. This is a couple years ago. To actually like start 100% keeping those commitments to myself. And you also have to have some grace for yourself. It was humiliating for me to write one thing on a 3x5 card.
Yeah.
And to check it off and to be like, this is not a failure.
It's not. The only reason, in my opinion, that it would be humiliating is because you're thinking through a perfectionist mindset.
100%.
When you have grace for yourself, just like Jesus Christ would have for you, and you're like, I only have one thing that I can write on this card today because that's where I'm at. He's like, awesome. I'm with you. I will support you. And I love that, versus only one. The perfectionist is like, this is embarrassing.
100%.
Satan. And the Savior's like, no, it's not. This is awesome. Because he sees us. He's like, I see you a year from now. I like this thought too of like him. Jesus Christ knows the 85-year-old Chris right now.
Yeah.
And he knows the 10-year-old Chris right now. He knows all of me. He's omniscient and omnipotent. He knows all things and sees all time, right? And I just love that idea that even when I'm at my lowest or making really stupid choices, he still knows me. He knows the 85-year-old, the 1,000-year-old Chris in that moment.
Yeah.
So he's like, I know you and I'm here, So in the moment that you're shaming yourself and saying, man, this is embarrassing, how humiliating, I can only write, I'm an adult. I should give yourself some grace. On this 1x5 card or 3x5 card, I'm going to write down this one thing today. And when I get that done, and here's the next thing, I would love to hear your thoughts on.
Yeah.
So you do that one thing, but then you feel antsy. Then you feel unsettled. How do you move forward with that? Where you've only got that one thing. Maybe you have a little too much time on your hands.
Yeah.
Which happens to be a problem that I've had in the past. So what do you do then?
Yeah.
Do you do just, okay, I got that one done. Do you add another one, or is that the thing?
So here's the trick. You're going to want to add another one, but you don't do it. You don't add another thing to the list.
Okay.
And what you're teaching yourself is, when I commit to do something, I will do it. And the second thing you're teaching yourself, which is the real thing, is I can trust myself.
Wow.
And
that's
so,
huge.
Yeah. And so instead of creating this impossible list where every time you don't complete your list, you tell yourself, I can't trust myself. I don't believe myself. This little skill of not only picking the thing that you're going to do, you start to trust your own judgment. And the cool part about this is you can still do more things during that day, but that's extra. That's gravy.
I love that.
And so you're going to feel good about doing the things that like not only are you completing the list, you're doing extra.
Yeah.
And for a perfectionist, that's going to feel amazing.
Yeah.
So not only do you learn to trust yourself, but you also learn, hey, I can do more. I can do more than I say that I can do.
Let's talk about when you fail.
Yes.
On this journey where you've made a decision, I want to get better. I want to change. I want to grow, but I'm going to start to try to utilize some of these tools that I'm learning from Wes's channel and whatever other sources. But so you're on day 5 of doing the one thing, or maybe you're up to 3 things. And then there's a day that you just fail. You just epic fail. Like
didn't do any of them.
Fire, didn't do any of them. Stayed in bed too long. We're late to work. McDonald's drive-thru on the way home, and then an ice cream from Arctic Circle, whatever. And then you binged a bunch of shows.
Yeah.
All those things are, not good for you and won't make you feel any better, but they're all avoidant to reality.
Yeah.
Then what?
I completely fail on the day. I don't get any of my things done. Now what?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying hypothetically, I've never actually done that
hypothetically.
before.
It's not like, I've gone down this list multiple times.
Yeah, I
know exactly what's going on.
I'm asking for a friend.
Yeah, asking for a friend. Yeah. So when you fail on your to-do list, it's inevitable. You'll fail, and that's okay. That feeling of that's okay and approaching it with curiosity, that's kind of the next skill.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And replacing shame with curiosity. That's the step.
That. Yeah.
And so what would you normally do like when you fail on a to-do list or like, hey, I didn't get this thing done or I didn't accomplish it?
Yeah, the old version of me would do what I said when I joked. I would shame myself. I would immediately start nursing the pain with sugar, dopamine hits from social media or movies or something like that. And essentially just like check out because it was so painful to process the idea that I didn't do what I said I was going to do. Ultimately, the truth is I didn't trust myself. And why didn't I trust myself? That's for another conversation.
Yeah.
The whole reason I became an overthinker perfectionist in the first place. But yeah, that's what would normally happen. But I have been incorporating the curiosity and grace, methods this past couple of weeks. And it's been awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like, it just gives you a quick reset, and you're going to fail at that too. That's okay.
Yeah.
I think that's the skill to learn that you're talking about. It's a whole other skill to give yourself grace in that moment it's so powerful. And it's like a whole nother chapter to a book that Wes is going to write.
Yeah.
One day.
For sure. No, the replacing it with curiosity, like genuine curiosity, and not as an inquisition. This isn't, well, why did that happen? What do I have to do to change it? What do I have to like? That is not what the curiosity is.
Which is what we do, though, right?
Exactly.
Like spiral and overanalyze to the umpteenth power every detail of how it happened and why we're like this. And that thing that happened 4 years ago, that probably somehow connected and butterfly affected into today.
Yeah. So what would normally happen is the shame and the guilt and running on to I am this terrible thing.
Yeah.
Like is the end conclusion.
Yeah, the I am.
Yeah. And so approaching that with a sense of softness, like this is a learning process. Perfectionists focus on outcomes instead of inputs. And so the outcome of, hey, this thing has to be amazing. And if it's not perfect, it's nothing. And we know that that's not true. Yeah. Is someone a complete failure for being in the NBA and not being the best player of all time, the top 5 people that anyone can name on their hands?
Right.
They worked their entire life to get there. And you're saying because they weren't the absolute best, that they're a complete failure and it means nothing. They're the same as someone who sat on their couch and never tried.
Right.
Absolutely not. That is absolute crap.
Yeah.
We don't have any discernment between 0 and 100. It's either 0 or 100. It's complete and perfect or it is nothing. Mm-hmm. And that's not real.
Yeah.
There's no way to jump from 0 to 100 in this. That's the same thing as 0 to Everest. And so we have to start cultivating a discernment between 0 and 100. There is such a thing as 5.
Yeah.
There's such a thing as 13%.
Yeah. And it's on the way.
And so a genuine curiosity on I wonder how I can do that better next time. And not going off on this whole list of whatever. And it's not like, why did I do that? Why did I do this? It's hey, I wonder what I can do different next time. I feel like I was a little bit overwhelmed. That was probably because of that conversation. All right, well, I couldn't have prevented it. Here we are. Let's try again tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's been really helpful since you shared it with me. A couple weeks ago, I was on a long walk talking to you, and we were just chatting about our lives, and I brought up this thing that happened, and you're like, hey, dude, here's this thing I learned that I want to share with you. And it was that. It's that instead of going into the deep depths of how it happened, one thing that happens to me a lot, or used to happen a lot, was I would be in a scenario with friends, and I would immediately start overthinking about making sure I was perfect in that scenario, because it felt like life or death. If I wasn't, I would lose my friends. And often in those scenarios, I would find, after it was over, I would find some reason why I needed to then text every one of them and tell them, hey, I know I was too much, or hey, this or that, or I said this one thing, like I just wanted to apologize, and I'm really grateful for your friendship. And that doesn't happen hardly at all anymore, but it would happen daily before. So the thought that you shared with me about it was, okay, what happened was you went home and you thought about it, you found every reason why it could have happened to the umpteenth power, and then you contacted everybody trying to make it better. But what if instead you just said, I went to this experience with my friends, or this event with my friends, and I wasn't the best or was I? Just questioned it, and then said, well, I'm going to try better next time, and let it go down the river. There it goes. It's floating down the river. Give myself some grace, reset. And the interesting thing about doing that is when you do it, you're loving yourself. And it's so hard to love yourself as a perfectionist because you're not perfect. And as I've done that and given myself grace and tried to love myself, it's just like happens. So it not only happens less where I feel like I need to message someone and apologize for being myself.
Yeah.
But I just am more myself and at peace with people. And those things that would happen where I would worry don't happen as much. So it's a really powerful tip.
Any effort, even if you fail, is not wasted because it's an opportunity to learn. As I was kind of talking about, like perfectionists focus on outcomes and not on inputs. We're concerned about this thing coming out of this machine being perfect, and like, hey, this perfect song, for example, right? But if instead of focusing on having the perfect song, you focus on improving your songwriting, that's a better thing to focus on, because that's something you can actually control. If we think about everything and we think about every different branch of how something can happen, it gives us a sense of control, which makes us feel safe. But the reality is we have zero control. We have control on our inputs, and once it goes in, in the machine of life, we can't control the output. We can only control inputs. Kobe Bryant couldn't control the outcome of a game itself. He can only do the inputs of practice and playing the best he can. But he can't literally go like, no, we win because.
Yeah.
Like that's not that. There's a line somewhere where you cannot cross that line and control the output directly. You cannot control the outcome.
Right.
You can only control the inputs. I'm working on kind of a guide for all the tools and stuff that I've learned. Dude. So last night I was avoiding going to sleep because I was going to have to do this podcast this morning. But I was justifying it because I was writing this list.
But this is important too.
This thing, but
This is more important.
and so I was laughing. I was like, they're both going to the same thing, but I'm using one of them to avoid the other. And so, yeah, it's just part of a perfectionist cycle. There's a learning that you go through, and it's step on step on step on step, and sometimes you step backwards and you go forward. But overall, if you look at the stock market, if you zoom out, it's kind of this line that goes like this in general. If you zoom way out, it goes like this. That's how your life is going to look as a perfectionist if you put effort into trying to improve. But if you zoom in on the day, it's going to look like this.
Yeah.
It's going to look crazy.
Yeah, it will.
But that's part of life. Your general direction. So you can't judge yourself on a daily basis as a perfectionist because your judgment system is way too sensitive. You have a home security system that will go off if the hair of a cat moves or a dog. Like, it's just overly sensitive. And so you're not allowed to turn on that security system. Like, you need to turn it off for right now until it gets calibrated to reality, because it's not calibrated to reality right now. So,
and that's what this podcast is going to help you hopefully do.
Hopefully.
And there's a book coming out.
Yeah.
I'm calling you out right here.
Yeah,
a book is
we
coming
could
out.
call it a guide or something. I don't know. Maybe a book, whatever.
Guide,
something.
workbook, whatever it is that you're working on. That's going to be so sick. So another thought that keeps coming to my mind too as we close this is maybe you don't identify as a perfectionist. And that's okay. There's things in here I think that everybody that's at one point or another deals with in their life, And so hopefully you stick around, hit the subscribe, the like, the bell, whatever notification thing so that you can keep following on Wes's journey. This has been a very Wes talking to me about things that I've gone through and that he's helped me with, but Wes also shares things he's working on in his life. And honestly, in my opinion, that's probably the most helpful stuff for me is watching him do it. So dude, thanks for letting me come on your podcast.
Yeah, or whatever this is. Yeah. Version 1. This is version 1. So we're going from here.
Awesome, man.
Okay.